hello, my beautiful viewers on E360. We are so excited. We are so happy. Today, we've got an amazing spotlight author I call her my beautiful rosebud, but Christa knows personally, have hugged personally how incredible. And I had a most amazing coffee chat with beautiful Julie, and Julie have come and inspire us on the Power Hour TV show as well. So I am so excited. I am a little bit sad. So with the happiness, I am a little bit sad. I just want to mention two of the panelists cannot be here. So my prayers out to Laura for her dad. It's not good news, and may the family be consulted, and then the angels take her dad where her dad needs to go. And then my beautiful Howard, he actually found us out of hospital bed. He's busy going through chemo. And it was so wonderful to see him and just see him for a few seconds. And he had a beautiful message for Julie to say that he could not read too much of her book, but he saw what she had written and it was so beautiful. And he wished her good luck for the show. So that was so incredible. So, my beautiful ones, my heart is full of enjoyment and seeing my beautiful Howard. I am going to give it to Christa to introduce herself. And then Christa will hand it over to Julie to introduce herself. Here we go, my rosebud.
Thank you so much. So, I am Krista. I'm from Ontario, Canada, and I fulfilled my dream of writing an Amazon #1 bestseller book, Skip the Pain, Experience the Pleasure. And the best part is cut the crap that's holding you back so you can live the life you love because we all have pain. And I help you go from pain to a place of purpose and passion. So I'm also a TV host, as you see, co host. I do energy work. I'm a nutritionist, and I am just thrilled to be here. I speak on multiple platforms, and Julie has been such an inspiration to me in my life. So when I found out she was going to be a guest on our TV show, my heart was totally full, and I've been looking forward to this for so long. Julie, would you like to introduce yourself?
I will. Thank you. Thank you, Krista. And it's really lovely to see you. And Sanet, thank you so much for having me today. I love everything that you do. I'm thrilled to be here. So my name is Julie Fisher, and I'm from Melbourne in Australia. I'm the mum of 3 boys, and my youngest son has Down syndrome. Sorry, my youngest son Darcy has Down syndrome, and he is the catalyst for me realizing my dream of becoming an author like Krista. So I share our journey with him and the importance of inclusion and acceptance in the community. I also have my own radio show down here in Melbourne. I host a disability expo in my local area in a way to support the community. And yes, I'm a speaker as well, and I've written 4 books, and I'm currently writing my 5th at the moment, Krista, believe it or not. And I love what I do. I love being a voice for my son and so many others, and I love supporting other families where I can.
Wow, incredible. And Julie, how special was it that you saw Howard out of his hospital bed? He doesn't have almost no energy, but he made the effort to come through. How did it make you feel?
Oh, it filled my heart. It was really special for him to come on and say hello and tell me what he thought of what he did read of the book. Yeah, I'm sending lots of wishes to him as he battles through what he's going through at the moment. I really appreciated him coming on and meeting me today. It was lovely.
Wow, thank you. So, my beautiful viewers, I am Sanet Van Breda. I'm currently in New Zealand visiting my grandchildren. I'm from South Africa. I'm a voice amplifier. I create space and stages for incredible humans around the world to share their wisdom, their brilliance, and their transformative stories throughout the TV shows, the magazine, and our magazine was amazing. We had a reveal this week, and then also the publishing. So I'm so thrilled to be here. So, Julie, I'm going to start off. I just quickly want, and then I'm going to hand off. We will do the tagging with the questions, but you said you are busy with book number 5.
Yes.
So, what can you, first of all, what can you tell the viewers out there who wants that has on their bucket list to have a book? Can you tell them how do you feel to have done your first book? And then tell if you can then share with them what is the experience, the people that's reading your book, what was that experience for you? So if you can answer those two questions, then I'm going to hand over to beautiful Krista.
Yeah. So for, writing my first book was a bucket list item, probably a little bit like Krista. I just always wanted to be an author. I don't know why. From about the age of 14, I loved reading books. And so when I eventually did, at the age of 50, mind you, write my first book, the experience it was quite incredible. It was a lot of different emotions. I was scared, I was nervous, I was excited, I felt empowered. All of those things all wrapped up together. I was nervous about putting my story out there. I think all authors go through that, especially when they go through it for the very first time. But it was just such an incredible feeling and moment. Like all those worries and emotions went away when I held that book in my hand for the very first time. I call them our book babies because we go through a lot of pain and emotions while we're putting them together, and then when we get that baby in our hand, all of that goes away, and the pride is just it's incredible. Like it's quite a task to get done. A lot of people want to write a book, but not everybody ends up doing it. So you do have to push past some of your barriers, I guess. And then putting it out there and giving it to people to read was quite incredible. I was very nervous as well. But thankfully, yeah, everybody really enjoyed it. And my idea was for families to read it to feel a little supported, which I did get that feedback, and for the wider public who have nothing to do with disability to read it and just learn a little bit about what it's like to be in the disability sector. And, the feedback that I got was exactly that. I got thanks from people. Thank you for letting us see a little bit of your world so that we understand a bit more. I had people that, changed their perception of people with disability because of my book. They saw them as people rather than seeing the disability first, which is so important because we are all people at the end of the day. So it's quite incredible, and I still get lots of feedback from that number one book as well as my others. But this one that we're going to talk about today is very special because I got to speak to many of my friends in the Down syndrome community and hear their stories as well and give them a voice because I've learnt in this journey that sharing our stories is extremely powerful and has many, many good things come from it. So it's important for everybody to be able to have a voice.
Wow, thank you. So, my beautiful Krista, I'm stealing your time, but let me just quickly. That is so important because I actually wrote one quote down. Well, I know Laura and beautiful Krista do the quote, but there's a one statement in the beginning of the book that I actually cried when I read it because
Oh,
even for us, I don't know anybody in my vicinity or in my like my um environment that is Down syndrome, but reading the stories and compassion. And I am a compassionate person, but not really realizing how difficult it is even for the parents. But I have something that I just quickly want to read, and then would love to find your comment, and then my beautiful Krista, I'm gonna go over to you. Um, in your one of the acceptance or the acknowledgements you wrote, we want them to be accepted for who they are. When you were talking about the children, we want them to have the opportunity to shine and try all the things in life they would like to try. We want them to be part of all the things that most of us takes for granted. And when I read Granted, I burst out of crying
Mm.
because yes, a lot of us don't even realize what we take for granted, that that's a luxury for other people. So thank you so much for the compilation of stories. Thank you for your heart. Thank you for everything you are doing, showcasing and helping other mums, especially mums, to go
Mm.
through the journey.
Thank you. Yeah, it is important. I mean, my son needs supports to do some of the things, but he has the same sort of wishes like we all do. He wants to try new things. He wants to go to the movies, go to the concerts. He wants to play sport, and he should be able to. So I think it's really important that we open our hearts and minds and give them a chance, because, when we see them have a chance and we see them shine, it's the most amazing experience ever. So.
Wow. So I do have more goosebumps that I can count. So here is my glasses for my goosebumps, my beautiful Julie. I didn't even mention it, my viewers. If you see we are putting glasses on, this is just when we get goosebumps, and not to interrupt our spotlight author, my beautiful Crystal. All over to you.
So I absolutely loved this book. First of all, I'll be honest, I kind of went through it really quickly, and I was so captivated by the way each person told their story. It was from the heart that I had to go back and really process the story. And one of the things that I noticed was a theme, not all of them, but a little bit of a theme, was when they found out and they're telling other people, and except for Lucas, when for the text messages, a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, it must be, so hard on you," and all this stuff. And I'm thinking, "Congratulations, you just had a baby." And
Yeah.
I mean, with Lucas, it was so good that they got the text messages that said, some beautiful things that I'm gonna, love, can't wait to snuggle him. And I think that's what we need to hear. But tell the audience a little bit about how it is with other people in your group as well, how the initial response they get, what it is, and what are they really looking for? What would they rather hear?
Hmm. Yeah. So I think when we don't know what to say, I'm sorry is a big one. So I sort of I don't get upset about that when people say I'm sorry. Instead, I just say to them, "Oh, please don't be sorry. Meet my son and see who he is, and it's fine. It's going to be okay." I actually ended up telling the doctors that it was going to be okay as well. So, what those negative comments do is create a negative vibe for you as well, and it puts more doubt in your mind, like, oh my goodness. And like with us, we got a prenatal diagnosis, so I was hearing all of
Yes.
those comments while I was pregnant, and it made us sort of think, oh my goodness, what are we doing? Are we doing the right thing? um, maybe we should go down the road of termination, which we didn't, obviously, and we never were going to, but it put extra doubt in our minds. And I understand it, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know as well, and we go by perceptions that we hear and we see. So we think it's going to be, and look, don't get me wrong, it can be very difficult, but raising any child can be very difficult. There's always bumps in the road, and there's always challenges. Nothing's ever smooth and perfect. So for me, I mean, he's our third son, so I just sort of thought, oh well, when I had my first baby, I didn't know what I was doing either. So, let's go. But what we would prefer to hear is congratulations, and then ask questions like, are you okay? Have you done some research? Have you got support? Do you need to talk about it? What what do you want to talk about? And then open the conversation. So it's a free-flowing conversation about a baby rather than the Down syndrome. Darcy, I mean, Christy, you follow me on social media and you can see the life that he lives. He plays sport, he's at school, he's got friends, he loves concerts. So he can do lots and lots of things. And we have lots of friends with children with varying disabilities. Some of them are in wheelchairs and they need lots of support. And those kids, guess what? They come out with us. They do all the things as well because they're people just like everybody else and they love to have fun just like all of us as well. So I think congratulations, and then ask some questions. Just sort of say, look, I don't know a lot about whatever the disability is and I'm nervous for you. Like, are you nervous? How are you feeling? And just open that conversation. Yeah, that's what I think is the best thing to do.
That is an amazing answer. And while I was reading it, I could feel almost the pain when somebody was focusing on a negative, but it wasn't a negative. It's a beautiful baby, a beautiful person that has just entered the room. So I'm glad you discussed that. And I did. So your particular story that you did find out before Darcy was born. And then you had to go down that route of, do I keep the baby? Do I terminate the baby? And I can't even imagine how difficult of a decision that would be, because I know as a mother, I've already fallen in love with my child. So, one of the things that I found so empowering, though, was you took the time and you did the research. You got prepared ahead of time. You were already ready for what was to come and had some plans for early intervention. So, if you can talk a little bit about that, about how important it is to have early intervention for those people who know, and maybe some of the feelings for other people who are finding out ahead of time if they should keep or terminate the pregnancy, that maybe they're not alone.
Yeah, they're not alone, definitely. When we got the prenatal diagnosis, it was 19 years ago, and it wasn't very common here in Australia then. I remember going on social media and hopping onto some American support pages, and it seemed to be quite common over there, but it, excuse me, wasn't common over here. The benefit that I had was that I had made friends with a lovely lady called Tina, who has a daughter, Amy, who has Down syndrome. And our older children were at school together. And Tina and I we clicked and we became friends very, very fast. And I was always fascinated with Amy. And the fascination was because she was so much like the other kids, even though she had Down syndrome. So I didn't know either, back then. So I used to ask her lots and lots of questions, and I wasn't pregnant at that point. And I asked her what it was like to get the diagnosis postnatally. And she said, we love her with all our heart and we wouldn't change her for anything, but it was very hard. It was emotional, it was heartbreaking, there was lots of tears. And I walked home from school that day and I thought, imagine having a baby and there being all that devastation and tears. I would not want that to happen. I would want to, and I understood it, but I thought I would like to go through that before the baby was born. And then when the baby's there, we can celebrate. So that's why we did the prenatal diagnosis. And nowadays, there's a less invasive test that you can do, but back then it was an amniocentesis. But we got the 100% confirmation a couple of days afterwards, and then we were able to tell everybody. We were never going to terminate, and I think that was because of Tina and Amy, because I knew her. But the doubt from others did put the question in our minds, maybe we should, but we didn't. And I'm so pleased we didn't. Our little big man, I call him, he's completed our family perfectly. But yeah, even the doctors, like the language from the doctors was quite hard. But when I think back now, I think they couldn't get it in their head that we found out so that we could prepare and we could learn. I think, traditionally, I guess people would get a diagnosis and then choose termination. So I think they kept telling me about that because they just couldn't get it in their heads. But I hope that's why. And then the support, like, yes, you must link up with support, like-minded people going through the same or similar. It's like, as I mentioned before, with our first children, we get put in a group of other mums who are having their first babies too. And it's so wonderful because when you're a first mum, everything is new and you question lots and lots of things. But if you've got a group of mums that you can then talk to, they're going through the same thing as well. And I remember one time Caleb, my eldest, was doing something and I thought, oh, why is he doing this? What's going on with my baby? Like, and we went to our group and all the babies were doing it. And it was like, oh, yay, it's okay. And it's the same with, getting support when you enter the disability community. So for me, Tina was doing a support group and I was able to join that while I was pregnant. And it was wonderful because I got to meet all these other amazing mums, and the children were aged between 1 and 7. And I got to see, how normal their lives were, and they were doing all the same sorts of things, some with support, some with specialist schooling, some were mainstream schooling, some were doing therapies that others weren't. But it was all just so normal and I felt really, really supported. So I got the advice of, yes, he'll need early intervention, you'll need a pediatrician, which I didn't know that. And he's going to need some help with skills and milestones, like he might take a little longer, which he did. He was 4 when he walked, but he reached those milestones anyway with that support. And it was celebrated just like his brothers when they reached those milestones. So for me, I can't emphasize support enough. I think it's really important, even if you just have one person. In today's world with social media, we can access support at the click of a button. We can reach out to people on groups, we can become friends with them, we can have Zoom calls, we can do all sorts of things. But there's always organisations locally to you that can support you as well, and that's important. I got in touch with Down Syndrome Victoria straight away as soon as we got the diagnosis as well. And straight away they were sort of there to support me too. So it's very
Yeah,
important. Mm.
that's excellent. So first of all, I do want to give acknowledgement to Tina because when I read give you so make your life better in any way. And the fact that she was already going through something that you were about to enter, and she was able to kind of hold your hand and had a support group she already ran. So
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't like trying to find it. And I know back then we didn't have the power of Zoom to we might have had it, but we didn't use it to
No.
click on a button. And I do want to give a shout out to our local community because as I was reading your book, I thought, I wonder what we have around here. So I did a little bit of research, and we have an amazing community support system that is not only about Down syndrome, but various other conditions, and it focuses on not just the parents and the family, but the thing that I was so impressed is that the child themselves can go to, so people can ask questions to the child, to the person, how is it, what would you, stuff like that. So I really wanted to acknowledge how I think that's so amazing. So thank you. Amazing answer, Sanet.
Wow, thank you. So, my beautiful Julie, I wanted to pick up my microphone so that you can see your ear. Your mic is making quite a lot of noises every time you move.
Okay.
And I
I'll
don't know what I do. I pulled my camera out, so that's why I was off screen. But I just wanted just to make sure your that creaky sound is there. So just make a note of that. So,
Okay.
do you have the book that you can show us your front cover? And then can you tell us why did you decide it on this amazing front cover? It is exquisite.
It's beautiful, isn't it? So we are part of a group called Celebrate T21. They do amazing things. And one of the ladies in part of that group is named Alexis Schnitger, and she is a graphic designer. That is, everything's backwards. That's her and her beautiful son Jordan, and she actually designed that arrow there, which is the Down syndrome arrow. It has a poem that goes with it, and she designed it to express her feelings when they had Jordan, and that arrow is now global. Like people, as soon as she put it on social media, it went global, and people tattoo it on their. I've got it tattooed as well. They tattoo it, and she's just incredible. She's so talented, and so I asked her if she would be interested in designing the cover for me. And I told her what the name of the book was, and straight away she came up with that beautiful image of the mum with the two children. And yeah, I loved it. It's beautiful. It's very warm and inviting, and I love the flowers that she put with it. The colours, I don't know where the colour scheme came from. I think it came from like the background colour. I think it just sort of came from the mum, and it just seemed to fit.
It
So
is.
yeah, I love it. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. So I do have a second question with all the pictures inside, but I wanted to ask Krista, what did you think about the cover? It was like when Julie have said it to me, I could not wait to to go in the book. It's like, come on. And I don't know, it's because I'm a mum and a granny. That's why it let me want me to read it. I don't know. I don't know how a gentleman will feel, seeing the book cover. But for me, it was exquisite. And for you, my beautiful Krista?
Yeah, one of the first thing I noticed, and if you can show the book again, Julie, up, so to see if anybody else noticed. So as the beautiful mom is cradling the babies, it looks like a heart
Yes.
around it, and that's one of the first thing, and it right at her heart.
Yes.
What an amazing idea, that I don't know if it was intentional. I believe it probably was intentional, and
Yes.
it also gives that statement that we love these children,
Mhm.
period.
Yeah.
It's not because of or of. We love these babies and these people. So yes, I absolutely love the cover, and I wanted to point out that little part that I did notice as
Yeah.
well. Was that intentional?
Yes, she designed that, and when she gave me the rough sketch, she said, "My idea is that her arms are like the heart," and I said, "I absolutely love that. It's perfect."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I also picked that up. Thank you so much for that, my beautiful Krista. So, Julie, and when you made a decision to do a compilation book, because it's almost like a compilation book, because each story is different all around the world. Did you also decided that you're gonna have the structure of the chapter created with the picture? Because for me, seeing the mom and the child, the pictures make me even more endearment, or feel more love
Mhm.
for the book, the people, and just love for the world. So, did you had that in mind as well?
I did, yeah, I did. I wanted to start each chapter with the picture so that people got the visual first, and then they got to read the story so that they could see the beautiful children that these mums are sharing about. And yeah, I think it works quite well as you turn the pages. And also, um, because it's a compilation, it's different stories, so then you can just choose which story that you want to read. There might be a favorite that you want to read again, so you can just quickly find the picture first, and then read the story. But I thought it was really important to be able to see the person, and then read about them afterwards. So, and then put the family photo at the end of the chapter as well. I
Oh,
liked,
that's
yeah.
so beautiful. And who of all those incredible women is first time authors?
Oh, most of them, I think. I think, yeah, I think all of them, except for me. So,
Wow. Do you know how many ladies that not even ladies, how many people, children and adults, have you made their dreams come true to be in a book?
Yeah, I know. And I do know that, and I know how it feels because, I've done a couple of books before that, and I know how special it is. And it's nice because then people who are nervous to ask questions as well, especially when you're sharing a personal journey, if people are nervous to ask questions, they can read the story first, and then they can find out that it's probably okay to ask questions because that's how we learn. So I think, sharing your story in there um, gives people that permission and to feel safe to ask a question as well.
I love it. So, ladies, I'm going to change our position a little bit. So, let me see how it's going to come out.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I don't want that one. I don't want the emphasis on me. Just give me 1 second. Oh, there you are. It's something different. So, Krista, all over to you, my girl.
Yes, so there's so many takeaways from this book, and I really want the viewers to know this book isn't only for people who have children with Down syndrome. This
That's
book
right.
is so relatable to so many areas of your life. And one area that really, really struck me was when you speak to the child, speak to the child. So Julie, you're talking about how so many times people would ask you, what would Darcy want, or something like that, and it's like, ask him.
Mm.
I think that just that point alone is so important, to acknowledge they exist. He's there. Ask him. He can make a decision. So I think just even educating the viewers is amazing. So does that happen a lot? Did you hear that a lot from maybe other moms, maybe at restaurants when people are trying to order or trying to check out at stores? What kind of is that kind of the normal thing?
It is, and I think it happens because Darcy's speech isn't as eloquent as ours, and a lot of what he says, you've really got to tune in and get him to say it again to be able to understand. So I think people just think because of that, maybe he doesn't understand, or maybe he can't answer. Like, not that he doesn't understand, but maybe he can't answer. But the big turning point for me with that was we were shopping one day, and Darcy was probably about 14. So um, we bumped into a lady that we knew. We hadn't seen her for quite a while, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, look, he's growing so much. How is he going? Does he like school?" And she was asking all these questions, and he tapped me on the shoulder and he pointed to himself, and she said, "Oh, Darcy, I'm so sorry. I should be asking you, shouldn't I?" And he goes like that. So that was a real turning point and very powerful for me as well, because I hadn't really, like, I always tell people to talk to him, but I hadn't realized that he was really feeling it as well. So it was quite good. So yes, definitely talk to them, ask them what they want. If you're working in a cafe or a restaurant, ask them what coffee they'd like or what meal they would like. If they need support to get the message across, they'll get it with the people that they're with. There's lots of communication aids and everything now, as well as having a person with them. Like, most of the time, Darcy has somebody with him, so there's somebody that can help. But yeah, definitely talk to him because he's a person just like us.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I love it so much that I'm actually currently reading a book, and I asked Julie for permission if I could add that to my book. When you're listening, active listening, and when you're speaking, get down to their level. If it's a person who's shorter or a child who's, shorter, get down to their level and speak to them.
Mm.
That is so important, and a message that everybody can use, not only people with, a certain diagnosis. So thank you for sharing that.
That's
Sanat.
okay. But, yeah.
Thank you. So, ladies, ooh, we're going to move back because I click on the wrong one and I'm going to stay as on the one. So, are you ready to move back? Ooh. So, my beautiful Julie, when you decided to do this amazing project, and you approached the families. How did they feel? Because first of all, this is going to be an amazing opportunity for anyone to see our story. That's my thing,
Yeah.
but also, you know, will the exposure not be whatever? But what was their reaction when you contact? Because I'm sure you know exactly who you wanted to have in the book. How was their reaction?
I did. They were very excited and happy that I asked them, but they were very nervous and sort of didn't know how they were going to get their story onto paper. But I had a plan. So I said to them, "Don't worry." I said, I've got a plan. So this is what we're going to do. And what I did was I met with them on Zoom or face to face. So some of the stories are from my friends in my community. 4 of them are from my friends in the UK, and 2 are from the US. So I did a Zoom call and I recorded it. And I had some base questions that I asked them because I knew what I wanted them to include in the book. And then I just recorded it and then I transcribed it. I let them read it. Um, and that was how they got their stories out there. So it was nice. It took that writer's block pressure away from them. They didn't have to go away and write. We met on Zoom and we got the story out that way. So it was really wonderful. It was quite an experience for me as well because it was different to my other books that I've written. Yeah, I
Shoot,
loved it.
that's incredible. So you have the opportunity to give a shout out to each and everyone in the book. So my
Yeah.
beautiful Julie, you are welcome to continue. And after that, we will be going through to Krista.
All right. So, yeah, look, I'm really proud of this book and I'm really proud to share my friends' stories. So, a big shout out to uh, Lucas and Kerry Ann, who are from England, Izzy and Sarah from England, Lincoln and Stephanie from Wollongong in New South Wales in Australia, Cassie and Ellen, who are from rural Victoria in Australia, Evan and Stacey from England, Darcy and me. Erin and Diane, who are from Chicago, Saxon and Narelle, who are from Melbourne as well, Amy and Tina, Melbourne, Joel and Isabel, who are from Melbourne as well, Nino and Sharon from Bristol in England, Courtney and Di, who are local to me as well in Melbourne, and Doug and Bonnie, who are from California, Santa Maria in the US. And their story um, is probably like I don't really have a favorite, but their story is so unique and different that I just love it. You know, unfortunately, I met them online during COVID when they were doing a thing called Mail Call. Um, she's just the most amazing woman, and he was an incredible gentleman. But unfortunately, he did pass away in 2021 at the age of 73, and he was still doing yard work the night before he passed away. So, quite an incredible story there too. But all of them are incredible, and I'm really proud to have been able to put this book together and let them sort of share how they feel and what their wishes are for their loved ones. So.
Wow, incredible. So, my beautiful Julie and Krista, this is going to be the paparazzi for your beautiful co authors in the book. So, are you ready to be paparazzi? Here we go.
First of all, I quickly want to say thank you to everybody who contributed to the book. So, from me to you to all the viewers, a lot of gratitude. Okay, are you ready for these questions?
I think so. Let's go.
What would you say about the word inclusion?
Important and necessary.
Ah, wait
Perfect.
for it, wait for it. Are you ready for paparazzi?
Yeah.
Okay, Krista.
How about acceptance?
um, Vital. So important.
That's awesome. This is a big one. Truth.
Truth. Honesty.
Are you ready?
Honesty is so important. So you stole the one I was going to say arrow, but invisible.
Invisible. Seen.
Ready?
And my last one is shock.
Be calm.
I love it. Here you are. So, my beautiful Julie, this is our speed round. That is our signature of our amazing miracle man, Howard. He does the speed run, so it was an honor for Krista to do it. So, Krista, how did you feel doing the speed run, my girl? And what do you want to say to beautiful Howard?
So it was amazing. I loved when he did the speed round every single time because it was an anticipation for me as a co-host to also wonder what are they going to say, what is she going to say, or what is he going to say, and the words that he was able to pull out of the book were so incredible. So I hope I did a little bit of justice for him. I It felt absolutely incredible because at the same time I was almost at the edge of my seat wondering what is she going to say. And I know it's so hard to put a word into just one or two, sometimes three words. But
Yeah.
you did, Julie, you nailed it. You did a fantastic job. And
Oh,
Howard,
good.
I really hope I did you justice because that's such an important part of this show.
Well,
Thank you.
I thank you. I know you did, and I know Howard is smiling for and to say thank you. So, my beautiful Krista, do you have a quote there? Because we also have to honor beautiful Laura. You and Laura always go with the quote. So, do you have a quote at the moment? If not, I will prepare the quote. You can ask another question.
I don't have a quote. I was going to use exactly what you said before. you, you stole it. Because it was, and that's what happens. It's live TV, and we don't talk to each other before, so sometimes we steal each other's questions. So you can go ahead. I love quotes. They're so meaningful. So I do. Me and Laura do usually look for quotes. A lot of times I look for many because we never know who's going to ask what. But I do have a question based on questions. What are some of the common questions you or maybe some of the other ladies and gentlemen in the support group, get? What are kind of the most common ones?
Yeah, I guess when Darcy was going through school, a lot of the kids and the parents wanted to know, like they would ask if it was all right to do certain things. Can we show him how to do this? Can we teach him that? Can we ask him a question? Um, what does he like? I guess is another one. So those sort of questions, and um, yeah, out in the community, I think we don't tend to get a lot of questions from strangers, but when we're out and people see the way Darcy enjoys life so much and the moment, we get lots of comments. So, and quite often as he's getting older now, which is great, people are tapping him on the shoulder and saying, I really loved watching how much you enjoyed that, and I wish that I had the courage to do that. So we get a lot of that because we do go to quite a bit of theatre and concerts with our group, and always we get a tap on the shoulder, and people just love the way he's just so free to express himself exactly how he wants to, and I love that too. Like we do worry about what people think, but you know what? At the end of the day, life is pretty short, so why not enjoy it? So even when we're at the supermarket these days, they play the music in the background. If one of our favourite songs comes on, we both start dancing in the aisle and singing the song, and I'm going to enjoy it. And to tell you the truth, a lot of the looks we get from people look to me as though they wish they had the courage to do it as well. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? That was exactly what I was going to say because I love dancing. And there's so many times I've been in a supermarket, I've been in a mall, I've been anywhere, and a song comes on, and I think, oh my goodness, I want to bop, and I look around like, oh yeah, no, I'm just, standing. So what an amazing example he is to remind us that it's okay to be us, be free, and
Yeah.
that is, kudos to him and kudos to you. I did read one of your other books, so I do want to give you a lot of praise for writing all of these books. And I've been watching you on social media. I've been watching Darcy as well as he's grown, as he's getting used to, I think, the attention
Yes.
that he's getting. I think it's fantastic that you're sharing these moments with so many people because it's so important for people to see that it doesn't matter who you are, you have an opportunity to speak up and be seen.
Hmm.
So, Sanet,
Yeah.
did you find one of the codes?
I did. I quickly went through and then I thought, oh, I remember the first one I saw, and let me just quickly go back. So it was a quote from, let me just get my glasses because I'm trying to go back, but I cannot go so that my eyes can focus. It is a quote from Kirsten White, the Chaos of Stars. And
Hmm.
I chose you in 100 lifetimes, in 100 worlds, in any version of reality. I found you and I choose you.
Yeah. Pretty powerful. Yeah.
So, you in the front of the book, there's two amazing quotes.
Yeah.
Um, did you knew exactly that is the two quotes that's going to start the book off, or did you find it by accident?
I think that the one that you just shared, yes, I did know that I wanted to include that one. And the other one, I just wanted to include one about being a parent. So I actually searched that one up from Joan Ryan, The Water Giver. Parenthood is about raising and celebrating the child you have, not the child you thought you'd have. It's about understanding your child is exactly the person they are supposed to be. And if you're lucky, they might be the teacher who turns you into the person you are supposed to be. And when I found that quote, that is perfect because I quite often call Darcy our teacher because he has taught us so much over the years and continues to do so every single day. Um, and we are exactly who we're meant to be, and everybody has something to give, and everybody has something to teach. Um, and yeah, I like my quote as well. If I'm allowed to share that.
I was about
Absolutely.
to ask you.
Yeah.
So my quote, which came about when I was writing the first book, and it's the tagline of the second book, is give people a chance and watch them shine. Because if you do give people a chance and open your heart and mind and accept them for who they are and make them feel comfortable in the moment, you will see them shine. You'll see them feel proud and comfortable, and it's the most wonderful thing. It's much better than seeing somebody feel judged.
I love it. I remember when you sent me your details for the Power Hour show, I actually let you know. I said, wow, can you remember? I love your golden nugget. I call it the golden nugget. So that is incredible. So, my beautiful ladies, we are almost finished with the show. But before I'm asking you, Krista and beautiful Julie, to have a dance with us, and then we will ask the audience if they want to dance with us. I wanted
Okay.
to ask you, my beautiful Julie, how are you feeling at this moment?
I feel great. I love sharing our story and I love creating change, positive change.
And if there's one message that you can give to the wider audience, and then the second message will be to all these amazing parents, and then the third message will be for all the special children because they are very special.
Yeah. So the first message is um, see people for who they are, look at the person first, for the parents, there's a big, beautiful community there waiting to support you. You don't need to feel alone. We're all here, we're all in the same race, so we want to support you and your child. And for the children, thank you for blessing us. You guys are incredible. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how else to express that. I don't know. It's just incredible. I love going out with Darcy's groups and seeing these kids, just standing back and watching them love being with each other. And it's just like everybody else. They love to play pranks on each other. They love to have a bit of fun. They love to play games. They love to and keep being you. Like, be authentic.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for all your messages to each and every one of people around the world. So, Krista, my beautiful Rosebud, and Julie, will you have a dance with me?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Love to.
Thank you, my beautiful viewers on E360 and our community, Diamond Beauties Forever and Tanzanite Heroes. Will you have a dance with us? They said yes. They said yes. And I have to do a sit dance today because I could not stand. But here we go.
Walking on sunshine or dancing in the rain. Sprinkle me with fairy dust so I can fly away. Smiling
I
at
love it.
moonbeam
Thank
moth
you,
swinging in
Julie.
the
Thank you, my beautiful
sun.
Rosebud.
Sprinkle me
Thank
with
you,
fairy
Julie.
Thank you for having
Amazing.
me.
dust.
My
And
beautiful Howard. Ah,
cover me with
Ah,
my beautiful Laura.
love.
Ah,
From
my
butterflies to
beautiful Darcy.
eagles.
Ah,
Oh, there's magic in
bye-bye,
that
everyone.
flight.
bye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Spring